Peace and love, you beautiful wonders of spiritual level of being. Nathan here from a spiritual level of being, and you have a spiritual level of being. And now, today I want to discuss the truth about the Gospels. Now, I actually have a cold, so I can hear this in my voice, so I'm going to do my very best for this video. Now, none of the Gospels were written by any of the disciples. We know this for 100% sure and certain, especially in modern scholarship. Now, in the 3rd century, that these titles of authors were given in order to win theological debates to claim that they were written by the disciples themselves. This was done by the Roman Church. Now, who were their opponents? The Gnostics, the Essenes, and other branches of Christianity. Now, another issue is with modern dating as well. Google needs to update some of this stuff, is with the Gospels themselves. They say that they're from the 1st century, when in fact they are not. They are from around the 2nd, the 3rd century, and even 4th century. Now, Hobby Lobby is also to blame for faking stuff, changing dates. They are known for illegal smuggling of artifacts out of Egypt and Iran, for releasing forgeries of the Dead Sea Scrolls to the public, being fooled by them. And in 2011, they made a lie. They said that they discovered the earliest Gospel of Mark, which was around the time of Jesus, discovered it in an Egyptian mummy head. This was a complete lie. It was actually taken from the Oxford Genus Papyrus in Oxford University, so it was not discovered in the mummy head, and it dated from the 2nd to late 3rd century. So, what we have are copies of copies of copies. It said that works of Paul were being the oldest, 25 years after Jesus. Now we don't even have this. So we don't know how different the original was to what we have now. Now, the Gospel of Thomas, which is banned and removed from the Bible, rejected, if you will. Now, the Gospel of Thomas possibly dates to around 50 years after Jesus' death, if not 150 years later. Now, we have another copy of the Gospel of Thomas, which is written in Greek. The first I just mentioned was in Coptic. The Greek copy was written around the 2nd, the 3rd, maybe 4th century, around the same time as the New Testament, or just afterwards. The reason due to religious persecution, as the Roman Church was hunting the Gnostics, as was the Catholics and the early Orthodox Church, though they stopped using the practice of heresy hunters. Now, due to religious persecutions and to religious extremists, we don't know how different the early texts would have been. Now, during the Council of Nicaea, titles were given to canonize the text in order to politicalize the Gospels, with Emperor Constantine's help. Now, it wasn't just him, it was other religious leaders who wanted to gain top authority, to be the big dogs. Now, it's lucky we have the Nag Hammadi Library, for instance. It could have easily been grabbed up by Hobby Lobby, not seen the light of day. It could have even been taken by people who were looking to add it to private collections. So we're lucky to be able to read it. Now, not too much light is shined on the Nag Hammadi Library. More light is shown on the Dead Sea Scrolls. But even then, the Dead Sea Scrolls mention El being Yahweh's father. And this isn't too much mentioned by the top religious scholars, as it debunks their religion. So it's best to go for scholars that aren't religious, as they won't let their personal beliefs, in most cases, affect their studies, where religious people, unfortunately, do. Now, we do know for sure that early Christianity was very much Gnostic, the first writings of which were Gnostic, some of which are lost to time, and we know they existed because we have references of it. We have a lot of references of Essene writings, which are also lost to time due to religious persecution. So, the Gospels have all changed. You want to see the earlier stuff, you have to look through the Gnostic writings, as they're the ones that survived the religious persecutions because they buried them. Now, they also preserved other writings from Plato, and I'm pretty sure they did preserve an Essene text as well, and other Gnostic texts, as there were different branches of Gnosticism, there were different branches of Essenes, some Essenes of which even mixed in with the Cainites and formed their own communities. So peace and love everyone, I love you all, connect to all my mind and soul, namaste.